All
Right.
right.
Well, welcome, Robin, to our first installment of Between Two File Cabinets. I am here at the WACC office. Excited to talk with you today about one of our amazing programs. We have lots of them, but this is a great program in our community that I know a lot of people are always anxious to hear more about. So I appreciate you joining me here today, Robin. Why don't you just tell me a little bit about yourself? Who are you? What's your
All
job
right.
title?
Hi. Okay. So I am Robin Batten, and I am the program manager with the Wellness and Resilience and Cyber Safety programs. And yeah, and I've been here for quite some time.
Yeah, you were
And
just
I'm
telling me. How long have you been here?
12 years this
12 years.
month.
That's
Well,
crazy.
November. It's the end of October, so November. Yes.
And you are
hmm
a mom.
I'm a wife and a mom, and I live here in the community. So yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for being here today. Can you tell me a little bit about what cyber safety is? What is the program?
So cyber safety is a program that mainly provide education in the community to help individuals be safe online, and particularly our children. And we cover a multitude of topics: cyberbullying, sexting, online predators, their digital reputation, because we want them to have a good digital footprint, and privacy and security. So those are our main topics.
Great. Excellent. What do you find? We're in a very different time for people. There's a lot happening in our communities. Kids and adults
Mm-hmm.
alike are on the computer a lot. What do you find is kind of the most pressing concern related to cyber safety for parents and educators and caregivers and even the rest of the community right now? What's kind of that pressing concern for them, that glowing issue?
Mm-hmm. I think that for all of those individuals you just mentioned, is that they're concerned about what kids are doing online when they're there. They're concerned that they're going to do something that's going to embarrass or hurt them or damage their future or reputation. That's going to get them into trouble with the law or at school. And they're also concerned about how much time they're spending online. We're in remote learning or some type of hybrid learning, and so the kids are already spending a lot of time in front of technology. So with their recreational online activity, that just add to it. They said that kids spend about 53 hours a week with some form of, technology screen time. And the recommendation is only about 7 or 8. So that's a lot of screen time.
A lot
Yes.
different than where we were a year ago for kids. And we were worried then about how much screen time people had and kids had. And have you
Mhm.
come across then some conversations around with either teachers or parents about, what they can do to kind of help minimize that exposure or vulnerability?
Hmm. I don't think there has been a lot of conversation at this time and period. At this moment, I will have an opportunity to talk to some parents pretty soon. So I'm hoping that could be a part of the conversation as far as parents in a workshop. Now, I did have a chance to talk to one parent whose daughter is starting like kindergarten or something like that, and she does not want her starting school remotely. She does not want the
Sure.
online education. So she's deciding to educate her child, at home, and not let her connect with school virtually. And, you can weigh your options and have various opinions, but that's her feeling right now. And that's just one mom. And it sort of surprised me. My thought was that, well, this is kind of where we are, and she still will connect with peers and see other young people. But as a parent, that's an individual choice.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. I think you kind of hit the proverbial nail on the head where, parents have this concern about, well, my kid's going to be online a lot versus I'm going
Mhm,
to be
mhm,
homeschooling them, which has been a method that
mhm,
works very well for a lot of people.
mhm, mhm,
Um, but at the same time, even homeschooled students still have the socialization through other activities, right, that are connected with the community and with the school. But right now, there isn't that connectivity. So if our, I'm, I assume, I guess I don't really know, but I'm assuming that then the homeschooled students are still getting some sort of social interaction, even virtually rather than that in person. Is that That would be my guess, but
Yeah,
you
mine
spoke a
too.
little bit about, we started this conversation about a month ago or so, where we were talking about the concerns around mental health and well-being. I know that that's a component of your program. Can you talk a little bit about why that has been kind of the focus of our conversations, even just internally in our office, but also in the community? Why is that such a big concern related to virtual learning and online use?
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of concerns. Even myself as a parent, I have concerns how much they're connecting online. And we know that in-person education is a part of their development, right? Socially and emotionally. And I think a lot of individuals are concerned about them losing some of that type of development, especially in their childhood when that's when all these things matter. We learn our social skills and we connect to our community by going to school. That's their social outlet a lot of times. So the kids are not as social, except on the internet, which I do know in having a teenager is that they are connecting online and hopefully it's a good connection. We do have to think positive. We can only talk to them about how they're connecting and what they're saying in spaces. We want them to be physically distanced but socially connected. So right now the technology is it. And I dare to say, I'm saying this with caution, that we should kind of accept it, but find a balance, figure out activities where they're not connected to their devices, especially if they're involved in some sort of sporting activity. For my son, it's boxing. So that's like a couple hours he can be away, or either find game time at home where it doesn't require any technology, that would be great, or just getting out and going for a walk. I think that will be helpful to balance how much time we're all spending online, because it's not, for me, it's not just a concern for our kids, it's for us as adults, because I think, a lot of adults are spending more time on social media, and that can have a negative and a positive impact depending on how you're interacting and what you're seeing. A lot of things are very stress inducing right now, with the current climate, with the COVID, with the racial incidents that have occurred, and with the political temperature that we have, and leading up to the elections. I think all of that could be very stressful. And on top of that, just regular life. Without those three elements, you have regular life, So yeah, I think there's a huge concern. I think people are really trying to be mindful from what from talking to folks about what they're doing and being very intentional. And I think that's what we have to do, is be very intentional with ourselves and with our children, how we process things, how our conversation in the home, you don't want to add to any additional stress, because just like we're seeing things that get us riled up, so are kids. They're on social media. And a lot of times I know my kids, they get the news about stuff before I do. Yeah. One of my examples before we shut down was, and this is, long, a few months back, it was when Kobe Bryant passed away.
That was before that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was before that, but it added to some conversation about how we connect online. Like our response when we first heard that news, we all can remember where we were, what we were doing when we heard it, and how we responded. If we believed it, most of us went to Google.
Yeah.
Right. Like, let me search this. I was right next to my son.
Yep.
We were watching a movie and he said Kobe Bryant died. And I was like, what? That's how you're sure this is not some hoax?
Yeah.
A lot of celebrities in the ground, right? Yeah. So I Googled it and he was like, it's on social media, it's on Instagram. I'm like, well, if it's on Instagram, it's on Facebook. So I went to, so it's like, I needed to validate. I need to make sure that was true information. But when I talk to the kids, they all can remember, whether they were fans or not. It's kind of like 9/11. We all remember what we were doing in those moments. And so we're having a lot of those moments right now.
It's almost too much, at times.
It is.
You're talking about very specific things, but, if we're exposed on a daily basis to those, oh my gosh, I can't believe, it can take its toll on our mental health. You're absolutely right.
Yes.
So,
and that's where I was going with that. Yeah. It's just, we're living in it too much. There's no break. Like we had Kobe Bryant, then we healed, right?
Right.
But now everything is just like daily, over and over. The numbers are going up. They're going up, people arguing about this or that. So we're living in it daily. And I think that's can be overwhelming for all of us, whether you have a mental health issue, condition or not. We all have mental health, but if you have some other stressor that you're already dealing with, or if you just, well, supposed to be, I don't want to say normal mental health, but if I can say that, I think that right now we're all having to do some self-check, to maintain balance.
So along those lines then, Robin, tell me a little bit about what programming or services or supports you have that are available for parents, for, teachers, for our community that might help them in this situation, or, what do you have available?
Right now, we're doing most of our workshops virtually. I've shared face-to-face workshops just a little bit, but not much. And I appreciate that opportunity. And they did use social distancing and masks and everything, so it felt pretty comfortable. But we are continuously doing virtual workshops with all of the schools. We're making it flexible to fit what they needed. I've actually recorded 6th, 7th, 8th graders, their topics, and invited schools to share it from YouTube, which has been great and hope maybe be an asset to us in the future. Let's see, what else are we doing? I actually heard this morning, which was really great. She's one of the school counselors that I shared our tip sheets with. She said that they sent it out and how grateful they were. She thought it was beautiful that we did that. So I feel like there's lots of opportunity to share the information as much as possible. We can't be face-to-face, and I am doing both youth and adult presentation with the cyber safety as well as the wellness and resilience conversation to deal with stigma and mental health and letting people know it's okay to talk about it, or whatever the situation. I really like the fact that both programs kind of merge that conversation. Like, we let the kids know it's okay to say something. It's okay to say that someone's bullying you or someone has frightened you online, or this guy is trying to connect with you. Whatever the case may be, it's okay to say something. And then with the wellness and resilience, we kind of have the same message. It's okay to talk about it. You're not in this alone. Even if you feel like you've made a mistake or you're unsure, something it's okay. We've tried to stay in that non-judgmental mode, and I really appreciate, and I want to influence, parents and school personnel to kind of have that same position, that we're not going to judge them. We're going to hopefully help them. The goal is to help them get beyond whatever that battle is, that challenge is. And so I think that the education that we're providing now is very important. I have had the privilege of sharing quite a bit with the schools since they've been remote learning or hybrid learning, and I really appreciate that opportunity. I don't want to break the connection that I have with the various schools. So when school does open back up, and I'm going to be hopeful that maybe we can open back up, that I can shift right back in and continue what I've always done with the schools and other community organizations.
Well, I know that the community really appreciates the work that you do out there. Teachers, like you've shared with me, have multiple stories about the impact that you've had for kids and their online and virtual experiences. So how do people get in touch with you if they want some of these services and supports?
Yes. Oh, that would be great. So phone calls are not good because we're not in the office as much phone calls. So I want to throw that out. So they can email me, robin@washtenaw.children.org. The scheduling is very, very simple. It's very easy. And I've been very flexible with schools as far as how much time they want to schedule it for. Some schools, because they're worried about the time frame and the kids spending so much time in front of the computer, we're actually doing a 2-part, series, which is very helpful. Like maybe, 20, 30 minutes in the first, and then, 20, 30 minutes in the second, which works out very well. And I'm very happy to do that. So whatever way it fits within their programming right now.
This is definitely so important for kids to hear your message. And I just really appreciate you spending time with me today while I've been sitting in the office and you're at home enjoying work at home.
Yes.
We're all
Yes.
adapting and we're all adjusting, and I just appreciate your leadership at WACC and the work that you do with the other staff here. It's been amazing. I hope that other people reach out to you and get in touch. Again, this is WACC, the Washtenaw Area Council for Children, and this is Between Two File Cabinets, our first version. So hopefully you liked it. Reach out to us if you have questions or concerns. Like Robin said, her email, robin@washtenawchildren.org. Get in touch with us, and we hope to see you all soon. Thanks, everybody.